Congressman Scott Perry, good morning. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning. It's great to be with you. And we're happy once again to host President Trump in Pennsylvania. It sounds like he's going to be the whole way across the state, doing anything from flipping burgers and serving, citizens and customers to watching one of the great icons of Pennsylvania sports, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, look, we know Pennsylvania is a crucial state. In your great state, we know the last few weeks are vital to the campaign. Insiders urging Trump to stay on message. His own aides have asked him to do that. With that said, he used vulgar remarks to characterize his opponent. I have to ask you, Congressman, I know we're used to his rhetoric, but are you concerned at this point in the race that he will alienate those voters, those undecided independent voters in your state?
Yeah, look, I think he speaks plain. I think most people understand the point that he's trying to make and have probably made the same point themselves, behind closed doors. He's reminding them about how bad it's been for the past essentially 4 years, and which is also a reminder of how great it was 4 years prior to the Harris-Biden regime, and that they can have all that back again. They can have groceries that they can afford, electricity bills and daycare bills that they can afford. They can feel safe out on their own very streets, and they can feel that their nation is respected around the world and that the world is not in chaos. And those are stark reminders. That is President Trump staying on message, and I think you can expect him to continue to draw the contrast everywhere he goes. He doesn't need surrogates and quite honestly, famous celebrities to be with him at his events. He draws enough himself. Those people are out doing their own events. Elon Musk was in Harrisburg last night. President Trump was not. Elon Musk had a sellout crowd. President Trump doesn't need celebrities to come to his events to get other people to come. Yeah.
Congressman, I understand making the contrast, but you're okay with the language then that he continues to use?
Well, it's not the language that I would use, but then again, I'm not President Trump, and I don't draw tens of thousands of people to my rallies week after week, day after day. So, I'm going to let President Trump be President Trump.
What he does best. So Trump is expected to step behind the counter of a McDonald's near Philadelphia. How do you see that resonating with the working class and not just be a photo op? Because I have no doubt this is the first time the former president will be behind the counter of a fast food restaurant.
Well, I think it's going to be great, and I think it's going to highlight that President Trump is for the working person. He has always been that. I think that that over time, the contrast between the two parties. I mean, Republicans has always been characterized as the people with all the money and not for the little guy. I can tell you in the race that I'm in, I'm being outspent multiple times to every single dollar I can spend because all the money comes from the West Coast, even though it's being spent in Pennsylvania. And so literally President Trump is showing that he is very different from the party of the coastal elites and that he understands the average citizen that gets up every day, oftentimes in the dark, packs a lunch and heads out to work just to pay their bills. And I think it's a great contrast, to Kamala Harris and the people that she associates herself with.
Trump also focusing on the key demographic of black male voters. That was once a solid block, as you well know, in the Democratic Party. What's Trump's strategy to win over black voters in your great state of Pennsylvania?
I think the strategy is just to go talk to them and to listen to them. I think that the Democrat Party just simply took them for granted. And many black voters just said, well, I'm a Democrat. My parents were Democrats, so I have to vote Democrat. But they see that the Democrat Party has done absolutely nothing for them except demand their vote every single year. But yet there's been nothing improved in their livelihoods and in their prospects for the future. I think President Trump reaches out, says, hey, listen, I'm available. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to make your life better along with every single American's life. And so I'm the guy that can do it. And as a matter of fact, I'm the guy that has done it. As you recall, during his presidency, black wages went up more than ever before in history. As a matter of fact, everybody's wages went up. And it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter if you live in cities or suburbs or in the rural area. You realize that. You recognize that. And as long as this is not a vote about personality, but more a vote of policy, President Trump's going to win it.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.